it also links well to this one, so they're covering kind of both at the same time. So profit. Profit is really interesting in economics. Um, it's really different to just what basic profit is. So let's just start with the condition for profit maximization. If I want to maximize profit, which all firms we assume they want to do that, it's gonna be where MC equals ML. Why is that? Well, if I drew out my marginal cost curve, so I didn't, what does marginal cost look like? What shape?
Is that the tick?
Yep. And it's the one where we were saying we don't like adding too many workers to the same fixed factor of production. So that's why it increases the more you try to produce stuff. And then marginal revenue is twice as steep as your average revenue. So it's downward sloping like this.
Okay.
So um, where the equal is going to be here, that's your profit maximizing quantity. And I'm just going to literally let you guys think for 2 minutes. Can you come up with any ideas or reasons why that might be the best point to produce? Okay, so the best way to describe it, similar to how you did it, just describe what's happening before Q1 and describe what's happening after Q1. So before Q1, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. This means that each additional unit of output would add more to total revenue than it does to total cost. Therefore, it makes sense to increase output. After Q1, marginal costs exceed marginal revenue. This means it costs more to produce one extra unit than it would add to total revenue. Therefore, that one extra unit would make a loss. Just be careful. The business is not making a loss now. It's still making a profit, but the profit has gone down from its maximum. Serena, does that make sense?
Mhm.
Perfect. This means profit would decrease from its maximum. So firms would choose to remain at quantity where NC was ML. Okay, now the fun bit. In economics, we never ever say profit. Okay, we always say normal profit or supernormal profit. That's really interesting because it's a bit different to just profit in real life or profit in business. So profit is so normal profit is made when total revenue equals total cost. Okay. Or average revenue equals average cost. Okay. Both are fine. It doesn't matter which one you want to use. They're both the same thing. Um, in business or in real life, if if I if I cut someone's hair and I make £20, it and I do it at home, it costs me nothing to do that. My profit would be £20. Okay. Yeah. So I have no costs and I cut someone's hair and I make £20. I get £20 of profit. In economics, it's a bit different. So what it is in economics is average costs are a bit different. The revenue is the same, it's how much money you bring in, but your costs are different in economics. So total costs in economics factor in explicit costs. You might never have heard these words before, but it helps to understand it much better. Explicit costs and implicit costs. Okay. Explicit costs are obvious costs. They're obvious to see. Raw materials, rent, all of your fixed and your variable costs. I don't know if you have, by any chance, know what I mean by implicit costs, hidden costs of doing something.
Could it be like the time that you spent cutting someone's hair because you could have spent your time doing something else?
Yeah, perfect. What's the word for that?
Opportunity cost.
Well done. The opportunity cost. And the best example for this is if I have a job and the job earns £30,000, if I quit my job and I start a business and the business makes a profit of £30,000, I'm only making normal profit. Okay. And then every penny above that is my supernormal profit. Okay. I'll give you another example in a minute. So if we have, let me just define supernormal profit quickly. Supernormal profits are any profit that goes higher than that exceeds normal profit. Okay. I'll just find something really quick. Um, I can't remember exactly what I wrote here, but let's read it and then it will make sense in a second. So, if a business owner would have or could have had a job that earns £30,000, that's the opportunity cost of running a business, and it counts as an implicit cost. Okay. Imagine that same business, they have real costs, explicit costs of £20,000. They have to buy a factory or a farm, and they have to buy raw materials and all that stuff, and that's £20,000. The business needs to then imagine if the business makes, so I just ignore that for a second, actually, no. So imagine, okay, so that's their old salary, that's their cost. How much does the business have to make an accounting profit? Like in real life that they could say they made a profit, how much would they have to make in revenue?
50,000.
In economics, yeah, but in business, does that matter? They just have to make 20,001, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the whole difference between economics and accounting. So it doesn't matter what you could have had, what opportunity cost you have. All it's saying is it cost me £20,000 to run this business. I make £20,001. I made a profit of £1, right? In economics, we don't care about this at all. but in real life, that would count as a profit. Okay. In economics, we factor in that, oh, if I could have made £30,000 with my time, I need to make £50,000 to be motivated to operate in the long run. Okay. So this bit here is just saying, it's just saying we need to know the shutdown points in the short run and the long run. Okay. I'm going to start with the long run shutdown point because we already talked about it. The long run shutdown point basically it's asking, this is just asking, what do I need to do at a minimum in order for me to be motivated to stay in business in the long run? And what would have to happen which would make me think, oh, wait, I need to shut down in the long run? So what would the answer be for that question?
So could you repeat, please?
Yeah, in the long run, what is it that would make me either want to stay in business or shut down my business? What would be the key thing that I
If
need?
your total costs or your fixed costs exceed your profit.
You mean total cost exceed profit? You mean total cost exceed total revenue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Serena, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
If basically that you're making a good amount of total revenue, and if it exceeds, or if you're making a loss or gain.
Yeah. If total costs exceed total revenue, then a business would shut down. Also, same thing if I say average cost exceed average revenue, same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And you both understand why?
Yeah.
Okay. All we're saying here is that if my total, I'll give an example. If my total costs were 50,000 and my total revenue was 49,000, I am making a supernormal loss of £1,000.
What does it mean when you say super normal, like in front of it? Because I
Okay,
don't.
yeah. So in economics, we always add the word supernormal in any profit or any loss. Okay. Every time. And I'll tell you when we don't in a second. Just for
Okay.
now, we always add supernormal. That's just telling me that I've factored in my opportunity cost in that calculation.
Okay.
Because if I just say, if I say, because remember how I said my total cost could have been 20,000,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm making a profit, but I'm
Yeah.
not factoring in my opportunity cost. So if I'm factoring in my opportunity cost, I need to say supernormal because that
Okay.
including my implicit costs as well.
Okay.
So it's just this paragraph. That's all it is.
Okay.
So this is the whole paragraph, but I'll send that separately. It's just saying the shutdown condition is if a firm fails to make normal profits and just fully explaining what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in economics, if you say zero profit, that's just no. Instead of saying zero profit, we just call that normal profit only.
Okay.
Because a normal £30,000 profit is normal profit if my opportunity cost, if my job would have made 30,000.
Okay.
Also, practice is really important because we haven't done a crazy amount of content, which means that we've just done 3.3 today, but we did it in depth. But then when you go and practice, you have a chance to write yourself and you become perfect at this one section, 3.3, and keep doing that and you become really good at. explaining stuff for yourself.
Mhm.
Okay. So normal profit is when there's no profit. It's when total revenue includes equals total cost. But we have to say total costs in economics include explicit costs and implicit costs.
So when you mean total revenue equals total cost, would it just be, for example, if like total revenue is 20,000, but the total cost also equals 20,000? Is it that it, or is it something different?
It's that, but for example, wait, hold on. Let me just change the order of this. And then I'll write an example here. So for example, total revenue equals £50,000. Total cost equals total explicit cost, like my rent. Let's say total fixed cost equals £10,000. Oh wait, no, there's no fixed in wrong one. I'm just gonna say total explicit cost
Mhm.
or total variable cost. Let's say that equals £30,000, and my opportunity cost equals £20,000. That's all it is. So I'm only making normal profit here. I'm making enough for me to not regret quitting my job. Anything less than that is a supernormal loss. Anything more than that is a supernormal profit. Does that make sense now?
Mhm.
Perfect. Cool. So I'm not going to explain that then. You can practice. And then the hard one is the short run shutdown condition. What time is it? Are you guys okay for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. The short run shutdown condition is quite confusing. Do either of you know what that is?
No.
I'll just tell you what it is first and I'll try to explain it in a second. It's different in the short run. You don't need to make a loss and immediately say, oh, I'm going to shut down. It's a tiny bit different. That's what I want you to understand. So the short run shutdown condition is whenever if average revenue is less than average variable cost, then we would shut down.
Oh,
I'll explain why. I'll just give you an example to help you understand that. Imagine if I've paid £10,000 for this farm. Imagine the farm makes me £100,000 a year. Well, I mean, I don't know about you. Let's just say it makes me £100,000,
mhm.
and my costs are £95,000. So that's my total fixed cost. Wait, that's my total fixed cost. That's my total revenue. That's my total variable cost. What's my profit here?
You're not really making a profit, then, are you?
Sorry.
You're not making a profit.
Yeah, what's my loss?
5,000.
Yeah. So I don't know if you add up all my costs, it's that and that, which is
would you call that? Then do you say that's a supernormal loss?
Yeah, we can say that, but yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We don't need to like ignore the old example for now for a second. So let's just say a loss for now. Uh, but in the short run, it's a bit different because these costs, um, I have to pay every single time I make stuff, right? And every time I make stuff, I get this. But this, am I ever gonna have to pay this cost ever again?
No.
No, it was just to buy the farm, right?
Yeah.
So this doesn't matter in my head in the sense that as long as this is more than this, I can actually in my head, I can just think, oh wait, I'm making a profit of £5,000. So in 1 month, if I make £5,000 profit, I can pay towards that, like pay it off.
Okay.
If I was rich before, I could have paid it straight, but imagine if I paid for it with finance or something, I can pay that off.
Mhm.
In the second month, I can pay that off again, and then that's completely gone. It doesn't exist in my head. It's gone. So now every single month I continue, I'm actually just going to make £5,000 profit. This doesn't count at all. As long as that's more than that. But obviously if my total variable cost is more than, then that's not going to be possible.
So by the third month, would it be a thing where you don't have to pay anything off anymore?
Yeah.
So if you took it out on finance, and then by the third month, you would be then making a supernormal profit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. And I don't know, like some of it's a bit confusing in economics, but I think that's kind of like a way of saying we're entering the long run now. Because remember, short run is when there's at least one fixed factor, but I don't need to worry about the fixed factor anymore. So all I don't know about that bit for sure, to be honest. Some
So
of it,
if it was in a paper and they asked us about the short run, would they give us a time frame, or would it just be like
no, it will
a,
never be a time frame. If it's asking you to define it or describe it, you just talk about factors are variable or factors are not variable.
okay?
There's like one fixed factor or no fixed factors. And if it's describing and it will talk about how many factors are fixed. If there's at least one fixed factor of production, short run. If nothing is a fixed factor of production, then it's long run.
Okay.
The good thing about this topic is they won't really link it to other stuff. It will just be on its own and it will always be a short question. It will never be a big question. But it helps to understand it because now we're going to look at these curves all the time. So it helps to just get this one out of the way because it's not a big topic, but it's just one of those that you'd rather understand early
Yeah.
Mhm.
than. It's one of the more boring topics as well. Apart from, I guess, normal profit is kind of interesting, but it's quite a boring one, but it's just one we had to get out of the way first. I'll just show you a paragraph I wrote. So in the short run, I just defined short run, and I just said a firm would only choose to shut down if average revenue is less than average variable cost. Assume a firm has two choices to make. So they can either choose to continue to operate or to shut down. Okay. We also make an assumption to do this. We make an assumption that a firm can never recover its fixed cost. So basically, I'm assuming, you know, that farm I bought, imagine if I make a loss, that cost is gone. Like I'm never going to recover it no matter what. In real life, it's a bit different. You can just sell your farm and get your 10,000 back. But fine, it's just assuming that. Okay? So therefore, we do not take fixed costs into account, regardless of whether they shut down or choose to operate. They're not recoverable. If they continue to operate, they would aim for average revenue to exceed their average variable cost. For example, make average revenue of 10,000, have average variable cost of 5,000. So if they make £5,000 worth of profit, they can pay towards their fixed cost, which would be good. Okay, and after that, they make a supernormal profit. Okay. I'll send those separately. I'll tidy these notes up and send it. it's just about practice really. I'll try and find I would just say do expert tuition theme 3.3 practice, and you'll be fine with this topic.